Cybertruck rides at parties are flipping skeptics into instant fans through raw torque. This is Tesla Shorts Time, episode 581. This past week brought fresh looks at how the Cybertruck performs in everyday social settings. Autonomy timelines stayed under scrutiny with ongoing hardware discussions. Questions around valuation and leadership compensation also surfaced in filings and commentary. One owner gave 15 rides up and down the street during a gathering. First impressions of the truck as ugly reversed the moment passengers felt the instant torque. Smiles appeared immediately once people sat inside. The pattern repeated across multiple guests who started with visual skepticism and ended with clear enthusiasm after experiencing acceleration. The account highlights how the vehicle's performance overrides initial design reactions in real-world settings. The editor took the truck to a friend's son's second birthday party. The vehicle stood out as the clear favorite among guests. The shape and presence drew repeated positive comments throughout the event. Children and adults alike gravitated toward the truck for photos and short drives around the neighborhood. The post positions the Cybertruck as a social centerpiece rather than just transportation. While the truck is winning over drivers on the road, Tesla's autonomy ambitions face a clearer hardware reality check. The company previously stated that the hardware shown in a recent video cannot deliver fully autonomous driving. The admission came months earlier than the current discussion. It underscores the gap between current vehicles and unsupervised operation. The clarification separates software capability claims from the physical limits of existing sensor and compute packages. This earlier statement now serves as context for ongoing debates about timelines. Admitting that existing vehicle hardware cannot deliver full autonomy forces a clearer separation between software progress and silicon requirements. The current fleet can improve supervised features, yet unsupervised city driving still needs new inference chips and higher training throughput. This distinction moves the bottleneck from algorithm refinement to the pace of HW5 development and dojo scaling. Capital plans must now account for both the cost of new chips and the timeline for installing them across production vehicles. Once hardware limits are stated plainly, capital allocation decisions become more straightforward. Resources shift toward Cortex cluster expansion and custom silicon rather than repeated software releases on the same processors. The business implication is that gross margins on autonomy services will depend on when the next generation chip reaches volume production and how quickly it can be installed across new vehicles. The same constraint applies to Optimus training. Humanoid robots need far higher inference performance per unit than today's supervised FSD stack. Without the next silicon step, both programs risk extended timelines even if the underlying models continue to advance. Optimus and Hyundai's Atlas are being compared directly on capability and intended use cases. Both programs aim to move humanoids from labs into practical work. The overlap shows how automotive firms now treat robotics as an extension of vehicle engineering. Tesla's approach builds on existing manufacturing scale at Giga Texas, while Hyundai leverages its own production expertise. The direct comparison highlights shared goals around dexterity, cost, and deployment environments. Yesterday's coverage of Optimus factory progress makes this matchup a natural next data point on external competition. LG will deliver battery cells valued at US $4.3 billion under the new agreement. The cells support both vehicle and energy storage production. The deal secures long-term cell supply at a time when megapack demand continues to rise. The contract spans multiple years and covers chemistries suitable for utility scale and automotive applications. This arrangement helps stabilize input costs amid growing energy product volumes. A second public Megacharger site has opened for semi-trucks. The station supports the higher power levels required for heavy-duty charging. Fleet operators now have an additional reliable stop on key corridors. The site adds redundancy for routes that previously had limited fast charging options. This follows the first public location and marks incremental network growth for commercial vehicles. The Semi will appear at the opening of the new Vancouver service facility. The center is described as the largest in North America. The event ties heavy truck operations to expanding service infrastructure. The facility will handle maintenance and support for both passenger vehicles and commercial trucks. The Semi's presence underscores the model's role in demonstrating service readiness for fleet customers. Tesla has stopped production of solar roof tiles after determining the integrated product could not reach competitive installed costs. The company is shifting focus to conventional panels paired with Powerwall units. This move narrows the residential solar offering and removes one of the more distinctive hardware experiments from the portfolio. The decision reflects a calculation that separate panels plus storage deliver better economics for customers and the company. Remaining solar efforts now center on simpler configurations that pair more readily with existing energy storage products. The updated Grok model brings improved reasoning and real-time data handling. Integration with Tesla vehicles and energy products is expected to expand. The release continues the rapid iteration cycle on the AI side. The model update targets better performance on complex queries and live information processing. Vehicle and energy system connections are positioned as the next areas for deeper embedding. Multiple domestic brands are pushing hard on price and features inside China. The pace of new model launches and discounts has intensified. Tesla must respond with both product updates and delivery momentum to hold position. Local manufacturers are releasing vehicles at lower price points with comparable range and technology packages. The environment requires constant iteration to maintain market share. The Yancheng Delivery Center hosted a busy weekend with flowers and stuffed animals marking new vehicle handovers. The visible activity points to sustained local interest. Deliveries continue at a steady clip despite the competitive environment. The celebratory setup reflects standard practice for high-volume weekends at the center. Strong foot traffic suggests buyers are still completing purchases in meaningful numbers. A buyer paid $9,153 for a 2019 Model 3 with 150,000 miles and documented daily use. The owner discussed whether the purchase felt like a mistake after months of ownership. The review focuses on remaining battery health and maintenance costs. The discussion covers how the vehicle performs under high mileage conditions compared to initial expectations. Real-world data from the owner provides a counterpoint to concerns about long-term battery degradation. Paul Graham observed that buyers today receive more range and capability for less money than a decade ago. The comment framed Tesla's product improvements against historical pricing. It highlights how cost reductions have outpaced feature additions for many owners. The observation draws on direct comparisons of earlier models versus current offerings. Data shows a typical Tesla worker would need 2.5 million years to match Elon Musk's 2025 compensation. The figure comes from public filings and compensation disclosures. It underscores ongoing debate over executive pay structures in high-growth tech firms. The calculation uses reported compensation packages and average employee wages. The ratio places Tesla within broader industry conversations about wealth distribution at large technology companies. Before we go, watch for further updates on how the new Vancouver Service Center supports growing semi-operations. And that's everything worth knowing about Tesla today. TSLA closed at $362.86, up $17.73, 5.1%. If the show saves you time, a quick rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify goes a long way. You can also find us on X at Tesla Shorts Time. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. I'll see you tomorrow. This show comes to you from the NARA network. If you want another sharp daily briefing, Environmental Intelligence has you covered. The Environment and Climate Policy Brief for Canada. All our shows are free at naranetwork.com. Prefer reading? Today's full write-up, sources, and transcript are on the episode blog at naranetwork.com. Same briefing, readable format. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.